I was born in 1959. I have a history of haemophilia in our family. Attending school was very limited for me because of the bleeding episodes that I had. The bleeding episodes would last for long periods of time. Early 1970s, I was about 12 years of age. I had a bleed into my thigh. I was told from my local hospital that, listen, there is a new treatment, we're going to send you to the Meath Hospital in Dublin. And when I arrived then, I was told I was getting this cryoprecipitate and this cold factor going into your arm and the dissipation of pain. It was just a miracle thing at the time.
At that time, in the 1970s and 1980s, haemophilia treatment was made from large pools of donated plasma. The products made from these pools were not subject to any viral inactivation, so many thousands of people with haemophilia were infected with hepatitis C through their medical treatment for haemophilia in those 2 decades.
In the mid-1980s is when it became known that there was a problem with the product, the big scare of AIDS and contaminated blood products. In 1986, I was diagnosed with having HIV.
My first experience with virus was with HIV. I was a child, so the only possibility I became the virus was this blood products.
I was HIV positive for a long time.
Many of those same people were also infected with the HIV virus through the same contaminated plasma products, and therefore many people were co-infected with both HIV and hepatitis C. When tests became available in the early 1990s for hepatitis C, it was found that in many cases 70 to 100% of people with haemophilia in some European countries were infected with hepatitis C.
У меня из-за того, что в детстве переливался я кровью и плазмой, ровно 15 лет назад, когда я сдавал анализы, у меня вышел гепатит С позитив.
In 1991, I was diagnosed with hepatitis C.
At the time, people were still struggling with HIV, and HIV was killing a lot of people with haemophilia at the time. So hepatitis C was very much seen as secondary. Also, because it was a slow and insidious virus and people weren't dying very quickly, there was less concern about it. The only treatment option was a drug called interferon, and the success rate of that drug was about 6 or 7%, very low.
I have done 2 treatments, the old treatments, and they were so exhausting. You do not want to get up in the morning, and that's so terrible for yourself, also for your family, for what's happening. I had small children then.
The worst side effect was that I lost many of my body weight.
I was like walking around like a zombie. I was a very strange guy through the treatment.
You have all the time problems with your stomach. You have no taste for anything.
It's not good. It's not good to experience such treatments, and then at the end, it got no effect.
I heard from other persons that the virus after the treatment came again. And so you have to do it 2 or 3 times with this bad complication.
I know other people who don't want to make a therapy because they know all the bad side effects of the therapy and they don't want to do it.
When we were bound to using interferon to treat hepatitis C, which meant weekly injections, plus addition of a pill whose name is ribavirin that was associated to risk of anemia and kidney toxicity. In that time, we were able to treat only 1 out of 6-7 infected patients.
The older treatments for hepatitis C had a very limited success rate, and they had a very high side effect profile. They were very difficult to tolerate, and it was for a whole year. The treatment was an entire year.
I had 2 treatments. I said I don't want another treatment because the last one was very, I would say not very pleasant for me.
The new treatments that came on stream about 2014, 2015, direct-acting antivirals, at that point in time it was a 12-week course of treatment. Success rate was extremely high. The side effects were practically zero. People really didn't have severe side effects on these treatments.
The main difference that the DHA have done is that they have expanded the possibility to treat hepatitis C virtually in every one single infected patient.
The new treatment was very easy. Only very few side effects.
No bad experience with the medicine.
A pill, you take it in the morning and in the evening.
Only 3 months treatment and such successful story.
When the doctor said to me it's gone, I couldn't believe it. I think in a few months or a year I want a new test and maybe then I believe you. I couldn't believe it.
The virus was gone.
In September 2013, oral therapy for hepatitis C became available, which proved to be very effective, totally safe, unfortunately costly.
What's the price of someone get a better life? Haemophilia is also an expensive treatment. And then you get the feeling, I need another expensive treatment.
This is a very insidious virus that kills people, and there's absolutely no reason to maintain that virus in people's bodies. So there's really people with haemophilia really need to get rid of this virus. They need to get access to these treatments, and they need it now, because the longer the treatment is delayed, the more damage is done to the liver. And of course, even when you treat somebody and they clear the virus, in many cases the damage is not reversible.
It was great that I know now I'm virus-free. The only problem was that I have so long time I'm on the virus that my liver is very bad.
I've been infected for a long time ago, 35 years ago. My liver was getting worse and worse.
Viral hepatitis C is an inflammatory disease of the liver. Typically, infections has a symptomless course during life and might take 3, 4, 5 decades to cause a significant liver impairment.
В течение 15 лет что пережил человек, который думал, что каждый день думал, что у него идет процесс к циррозу печени. Это очень тяжело, это психологическая нагрузка, это очень большая нагрузка.
A scary liver, which we call cirrhosis, it's an organ that has been completely transformed following accumulation of scars and fibrous tissue. And as a consequence, these patients might have altered liver enzymes in the blood, might have issues in detoxification, meaning that they might have increased level of bilirubin that make a yellow appearance of their eyes or their skin. They might deteriorate clinically, developing consequences like retention of water and salt in the peritoneum. They might get to some extent intoxicated in the brain developing symptoms of mental confusion. Some of them might bleed in the gut because scarred livers stop blood flow through the liver, making the venous vessels to inflate, and some of them may break and develop hemorrhage within the gut, and in the end, some of them might develop primary liver cancer.
И много пациентов, которые на самом деле у них сейчас фиброз, и они уже знают, что еще 6 месяцев, еще год, и они уже заболеют, циррозом печени. Многим пациентам нужна скорая помощь, скорое лечение гепатита С, потому что каждый день это для них минус в их жизни, в их будущем.
The biggest single cause of death in people with haemophilia is hepatitis C. The most common cancer in people with haemophilia is hepatocellular carcinoma or liver cancer. Hepatitis C is quite a large problem in every country in Europe for the general population. There are a large number of people with hepatitis C in each country. The difference with people with haemophilia is that they were infected with hepatitis C through medical treatment, in many cases provided by their health service or by their governments. So if their hepatitis C was caused by medical treatment provided by their government, then the government surely has a moral obligation to provide them with treatment, with effective treatment as soon as it is available.
You must be sure that the medicals don't have side effects. And that's no small side effects, it's a very big side effects. HIV and hepatitis C are very big side effects of medication.
There must be political will. Why? Because we have niches of infected population who have stigma, that are perceived as being people who do not deserve our attention.
I think the doctors need to take a proactive view on this. They can't just sit back and wait for patients to come forward and say, what's my hepatitis C status and should I be considering treatment? They should actively encourage them to take treatment.
Именно в этой сфере в Азербайджане очень есть хорошие врачи, которые хотят помочь больным именно гемофилией.
We should bring more and more patients to have access to these medications.
In Holland, the government has taken the responsibility. They have negotiated with the pharmaceutical companies to get a better price.
It actually makes good economic sense to eradicate hepatitis C in the haemophilia population because the cost of dealing with liver disease in a group of people with haemophilia is very, very high.
You spare death, disability, liver transplantation, hospital admission, and you gain in quality of life and working productivity.
The government have now the chance to take their responsibility for the people who them affected.
Start action to find the people that are infected. Even if there are very difficult groups, try to reach those people.
And treat them.
If you get access to treatment and you clear the virus, and there's a 97% chance that you will clear the virus with these treatments, you dramatically lower your risk of going on to develop liver cirrhosis or liver cancer. You dramatically lower your risk of dying from liver disease, and that has to be a worthwhile objective.
We have to do a lot of effort to get rid of that terrible disease.